Okay, hi Jay.
Hey Dee, this is it. This is the big one.
It is.
All the books.
It is. So we're here to sort of summarize, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So let's see. Well, one of the things we wanted to talk about is what is MSBA and how do these books get on our shelf, right? Like here we are at the library.
Right.
Well, there's this committee that comes together. They're teachers and librarians and school librarians, and they all get together and they search for books themselves, and then they decide which ones make the cut,
Excellent.
which is really
Yep.
cool because
Yep.
they know what kids like.
Right. And
Right?
they're from Maine. That's awesome.
They are for me.
Yep.
And sometimes they have to travel around the state and get together. I'm sure they did Zoom this past year, but yeah, so it's always good to know, like, why are we reading just these select books? But people who know what they're doing have made those decisions.
That's good. That's good to know that librarians and teachers who work with kids all the time
That's right.
choose these books. So that's a great idea.
Yep. Okay. So these are the books that you and I, since September, have been talking about,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep. I
And-
recognize those.
We really had fun with this. So, again, we recommend that if you haven't seen our videos, you need to go back and see them.
Yes.
Because this is all about summarizing today so that you guys can vote. That's what we want.
Yes, it's really, really, really important. And as a teacher, as a librarian, as just an interested person, you really have to get to your kids and make them choose a book.
Mm-hmm. So you could always go back and see our past videos, MSBA with D and J on any of these titles or any of these titles. And I've got my Beanstack hat on because we really are pushing that app. If you
Yep.
haven't got your Beanstack app, make sure you get it because it's an awesome way to keep track of what you're reading.
Yes,
And
indeed.
yeah. But one thing we wanted to do today was talk about themes or genres, kind of categorize some of these books to kind of help you guys figure out if you haven't read them yet, you still have time because as you can see, the vote is April 30th.
I know, and this is the best part because the vote used to be earlier,
Yeah.
but like taxes and everything else, they bumped it up
Yep.
a month. So you've got plenty of time to get your kids to these books.
All right. So we did some categorizing here, and these are the books that are sort of, well, New Kid is definitely graphic novel.
Absolutely.
And then these other two, this other one, the Tonight Owl from Dogfish is actually written letter form. So I kind of put it there too, because they're different formats than just the regular text, paragraph text.
And so many kids really gravitate to these graphic novels.
Yeah.
They really speak to them. They're like the comic books that you and I read when we were kids. These books tell important messages. So really look into them.
Mm-hmm. And just a little note on, this was our pact. I think it was like over 300 pages and it was like zippy-doo, I read it and it was awesome. So that's the other thing. You can really kind of breeze through some of these graphic
Mhm.
novels. All right. We had some fantasy.
You bet. My turn to talk. I'm telling you, these books were just captivating. The Fireborn book was the dragon book. Oddmire is about changelings and elves and witches, and oh, it was amazing. The one on the far right-hand side, that's called Homerooms and Hall Passes. It's like if you get kids with Dungeons and Dragons, all the characters from that end up in a middle school. Figure it out. Those are great books.
You would never know that about that cover. You'd never know
I
that
know.
book was a D&D theme.
Yep.
With that cover. So
Yep.
I'm so glad you did
Yep.
that. All right, and then we have Kids in Transition, and we use that title because these kids in these books are sort of all over the map, but they're not really grounded or settled where they are. They do tend to be at the end of the stories, of course, but they've got a lot of turbulence going on.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else on those?
The books on either end, The Bridge Home and Other Words for Home, you notice they both talk about home. They take part, they're kids from foreign countries. The one on the left, The Bridge Home, is kids who leave a horrible relationship in their family and band together as almost like street kids. The one on the far right, that one is about a girl from Syria that ends up in Cincinnati, Ohio. You can imagine what that book might be like.
Mm.
And The World Ends in April is great. It's about a kid trying to make a decision, going to a special school for the issues that he has to overcome, and how his friend sees the world ending in April because he'll be gone.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a great book. Great book. Great book.
Okay. Well, and just a little side note, like any book with one of those decals on it with an award,
Yes.
get
Yep,
your hands
yep,
on it.
Yep.
And then these settings were from a different country.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. Anything else about those? Or
So in interest of just full disclosure, I have a lot of time to read. So I've read a lot of these books. So if I keep saying, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, that's because that's my thing. So Under the Broken Sky, Japan, Orange for the Sunsets, Pakistan,
Beautiful.
India. Just kids trying to survive in unbelievable situations.
So if you want to get away, these are really
Yep,
awesome
yep.
books. These two have to do with climate change and what happens with humans with climate change.
Yep, yep.
All right. Family struggles. Yeah. So sort of some really deep issues going on, I think, with all of these. Not that they're all similar. Some are about poverty and some are about loss and grieving. But really, and then there's also one with some medical, like, what do I want to say? Anyways, food disorders.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Anything else there?
No, they're all, they really all are separate, but they all have a lot to do with family.
Mm-hmm.
Big things with family.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Friendship, common theme in a lot of middle grade books. These are really, I'm just looking back thinking, these are so good. So good.
A lot of the books that we read are really, they're just real, and they really got into the heart and soul of middle school, mostly middle school kids. The role with it is a girl with cerebral palsy, but her only disability is she cannot walk. And she talks about how she is perceived in the wheelchair all the time. Nikki on the Line is a girl who was really good in her school, but then she had to go on a travel team because she was so good, and what it's like to make that transition. These books are just amazing.
Yep. Okay. Scary Stories. I don't think that one needs any further explanation, but I will say that Ghost freaked me out. Some of them are really spooky.
Yep.
This one, I think was the only one that we found was set in Maine, correct?
Yes. It starts in a summer camp, and it really talks a little bit more too about climate change. We talked about that before, but
yeah.
This is how everything's gotten so dry, and we have so many wildfires that are coming across the country. This is what happens, and this is a camp in Maine that's impacted.
So that was worth noting that it was set in Maine. Then we have our dog animal theme, and again, we reviewed both of those books. We didn't review Beastly Puzzles, but we put that on there as part of that theme. And then these are just ones that didn't quite fit those other categories, but you know, they made the list, so they are worth taking a look at.
Definitely.
And these two as well. And I just want to point out that this link down here that says check it out is a fabulous find from the MSBA site. And I'm just going to do this and take you guys there, if I can get there, and show you that MSBA has set this up with nearly all of the books on the list, not all of them, but nearly all of them. And if you click on the book titles, it will take you to a 1.5 minute trailer for each one. And they're
Mhm.
kind of jazzy.
Yeah, oh,
Like, they're really
definitely.
worth showing students if they're
Mhm.
like, oh, I don't know if I want to read Nikki on the Line.
Right.
Sounds interesting, but let me see more. These are awesome little videos to watch. All right, my slides are giving me trouble.
So while we're moving the slides around,
Yep.
I really want to encourage you to take advantage of these MSBA books. They're available in many school libraries around here. They're available here at the Bose Library in Union. And I'm not saying don't read Gary Paulson anymore, because we know that that's just a real nugget for folks in certain grades. But like expand a little bit more to new authors, because that could be the new Gary Paulson just coming through. And they have been kind of vetted by people that you would trust. So these books, and even if you don't have enough money to buy the whole new set next year, buy a few and then call us and see what we have available here.
Nice. Yeah. And the reason we're sitting here is because we wanted to show you
Right.
that we have these titles,
Right.
and we also have past titles as well.
Oh, definitely.
Yep. So we wanted to show you this, that there are two other ways to join the MSBA if you're interested. One is to become a star student, or also a North Star Award. And so rather than digging into each of those, we just wanted to make sure you knew that there was more to the MSBA than just the vote, but the vote
Mhm.
is super, super important. And again, as Jay said, it's moved out to May 1st, but we want to hear from you by April 30th. And there are some ways to do your voting. So if you've read, I think is it 10 or more?
Yes,
I think so.
especially this year. This
yeah.
year, if you were able to read 5 or more, is even great
Okay.
because of availability issues.
Yep. Okay, gotcha. So you want to let your teacher know, or your school librarian. You are welcome to call us here at the library, or email us here at the library. I've put that on the screen. And we are a place where you can tell us what your favorite is, and we'll put your vote in for you.
Definitely.
So,
Definitely.
and your teacher and your school librarian can do it as well. And I think that's it, Jay. Is there anything else?
So now that you know about this, you need to look for this for next year. But in the summertime, when there's more availability to get into the library, come and see some of the past MSBA books, because you will really find that they speak to you.
Yeah, they're on the list for a reason. There's so many books out there, but this group that I talked about at the beginning, they whittle it down so that you've got sort of the prime text that are out there.
Yep, absolutely.
All right.
All
Very
right,
good.
that's
High
it.
five, Jay. Okay.
And don't forget Bean Stack.
Bean stack, do it.